another brand new video. And today I will be reviewing the brand new horror comedy slasher Freaky. Now, I'm actually surprised that we got a really good horror comedy slasher this year. In general, this is more of a slasher than a comedy. And I'm going to explain that later on. Because the promotion, really promoted this as a horror comedy. Let me tell you, this is a slasher. And I mean a unique slasher. So the whole premise of this movie is basically, what if Freaky Friday, the Jamie Lee Curtis movie, Freaky Friday, what if Freaky Friday is a horror movie? That's basically what the premise is. You're introduced to this girl, Millie, and you could tell that she's not liked. She gets picked on, even by this one teacher. Like, picks on her and all that. And, yeah, you really feel for Millie. And, yes, there's comedy in this movie. That's why I say it's a horror comedy. But even though it's a horror comedy, wow, it surprises me how much more of a slasher than it is. And the killer in this, especially the first half, wow. The mask that the killer wears, I like the mask. I like the whole get-up. It's simple, and it's effective. The kills, there's actually kills in this. Like, the kills are actually surprising to me. This is the same director that did Happy Death Day. What a lot of people don't know is Happy Death Day was originally supposed to be rated R. I think this got a rated R because of the success of Halloween 2018 and how successful R-rated films are in general. So I think that's one reason why. I feel like this director, got he got more freedom on this than Happy Death Day. Because like I said, Happy Death Day was originally supposed to be rated R, have more kills, be more of a slasher. I think Blumhouse let him have more freedom in this movie, with the kills and with the gore and with more of being a slasher. This movie is such unique to the premise, to the tone. It's such a unique movie. And again, like I said, the kills, love the gore, love the story. And I think this is such unique. And I think it's such a shame that Blumhouse really just threw this movie out there. That's me personally. I just feel like Blumhouse just threw this movie out there with barely any promotion. And I feel like this is a very unique slasher that sadly is not going to be talked about. I hope it gets recognition. I hope it gets talked about. But I don't know. I'm glad that this director had had a lot of freedom. This, like I keep saying, this is the same director that did Happy Death Day, and he proves himself as a horror director in this. Again, he did a good job with Happy Death Day and them, but he really proved his horror chops in this. He really did, and I'm trying to stay away from spoilers as much as I can, but you have to check this movie out. Again, that may turn some people off when I say horror comedy, but there's some really good horror comedies out there, and this is not really a horror comedy. It's more of a slasher. With Happy, I keep talking about Happy Death Day because, again, that's the same director. I keep bringing up Happy Death Day because, like I said, the director of this movie did Happy Death Day and the sequel. Point is, again, I just feel like this, this time, with Blumhouse, he got more freedom. And I think a lot of that has to do with Halloween 2018 and the success of all R-rated films in general. The Joker being one of them. So, I don't know. I really enjoy Freaky. All the trailers and stuff really got me excited for it, but this movie actually surprised me. And I really enjoy it. I can't wait to watch it again and give more, thoughts on it. I really enjoyed it. But I will say the ending. The ending, it's what's going to have to give this movie a 9. I would give this movie a 10 out of 10. But it's going to have to get a 9 because of the ending. We all know Blumhouse loves their sequels, which, again, I love me a good horror sequel. And I think this movie wrote its sequel itself until they did something. And what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie. And again, what they did, it really makes me upset, because I feel like if, when they do a sequel, because we all know they're going to do a sequel to this. If they do a sequel, they're going to do the same thing. And the whole ending, to me, should have been the ending for a sequel. They should have, I think they should have shot this ending and just, I can't talk, apologize. They should have shot this ending, thought about it, and just scrapped it for this movie, ended this on a cliffhanger ending, and saved this ending for the sequel to have it, if that makes any sense. The point is, I love this movie. I think it's really unique. If you're a fan of slashers, fan of horror, this really brings everybody together, in my opinion. It really brings people that love comedy and horror. It brings really everybody together. You know how much I love horror movies, and and I'm surprised that we actually got a good horror movie this year. Again, this is a horror movie. I remember talking, in my trailer reaction, this is not a horror movie, it's more of a horror comedy. No, this doesn't bring up a debate like Happy Death Day does. Is Happy Death Day a slasher? This is a slasher. It just takes a unique spin on it. It has more fun with the premise of a slasher, I think. So, yeah, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of Freaky? I'm very curious to know what are people's thoughts on this movie. So, let's have a good discussion in the comments. What do you think of Freaky? So, yeah, make sure you smash the like button. Please subscribe if you're new around here. Hit that notification bell. I give it a 9 out of 9. I only give it a 9 out of 9 because I think they should have just did the ending a little different. But regardless, really enjoyed it. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Let me know if you enjoyed the reactions. Let me know if you are, let me know if you want more reviews like this, where I show clips and whatnot. So yeah, catch you guys in the next video.